Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Gen 1 journey, where we take 3 teams from Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow all the way to Pokemon Stadium, and there, at the end, create an amalgam team of the best performers to take on the hardest challenges that Round 2 Stadium has to offer. We'll also be making a Team B, but that's not very important right now. What is important is we are in the third and final leg of the journey, Pokemon Blue. We are currently naming our Pokemon after characters from Warhammer Fantasy or Age of Sigmar, which we are ourselves named Sigmar. We have Carl Franz, the Squirtle, and Tyrion, the Pidgey. We're going to be leveling up Carl Franz a little bit. Hello, man, who will say here he came with his friends to try and get Pokemon fights and catch bugs. Anyway, there's plenty of bug Pokemon here. Bugs are typically the weakest of the Pokemon types, especially in Gen 1. The only type really weaker in Gen 1 is perhaps poison, but even then there's some good poison type Pokemon, and there's very, very few good bugged Pokemon, unfortunately. Just consider it it's largely because there's not any good bug moves yet. Leech Life is very weak right now. It's only base power 20 instead of 70 like it will be later. X Scissor doesn't exist. In fact, the best one is probably Twin Needle or Pin Needle. And both of those, and Pin Needle isn't really found on any good bug Pokemon, and Twin Needle is found on no good bug Pokemon, unfortunately. That said, bug Pokemon are still, they still have a niche, and are actually quite good early on, especially if you can get Butterfree. Butterfree is the final evolution of Caterpie. You get it at level 11. Butterfree is fantastic for the early game because it learns a Psychic type move very early on. Very helpful in Pokemon Red or Pokemon games where you've chosen Charmander, or in Pokemon Yellow where you have only access to Pikachu. And because it learns that move quite early on, I think like level 14 or so, you can bring the pain quite handedly. We're just going to keep using Bubble because we have the stab bonus with it, even though it does not do a lot of damage, because Call Friends is a weak little bitch. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say such things. A weak little loser. There we go. Isn't that so much nicer, Call Friends? He will be super strong later on. He will be our Emperor proper later on, but not yet. Not yet, indeed. No. I hope you're going to be enjoying the riveting combat and commentary. I am still very sick. I probably will be for a week, maybe even longer, maybe even like a couple weeks, which, God, I hope not, but it's looking like that's what's going to be happening. So, I gotta truck along and somehow get to the other side. Break on through to the other side, so. Ooh, these are much higher level Pokemon now. Isn't that interesting? Of course, it didn't matter. We're all level 10 and shit. Ooh, a nice little crit. That will help things along. Crits ignore bonuses to attack and defense, sometimes to its deficit. And it effectively doubles damage. Very nice. The chance of a crit is based on speed in Gen 1, if I'm not mistaken. Kakuna is the next evolution. Always use special attacks because it and Metapod will continue to use Harden, which increases their physical defense. But if we keep using special attacks, there is nothing they can do, and their Harden does nothing, and we just beat the shit out of them. To be honest, you can just keep bringing the pain with like tackles and gusts until they die. It's just going to be very annoying. Yay, Call Friends gets closer and closer to evolving, which will make him much more useful. Once he evolves into Wartortle, things will get a lot easier for us. Ooh, so bring in the pain train. I've been thinking about what our third Pokemon is. And what Pokemon it will be that for certain will be with us all the way to the end. And we'll probably have to go all the way to Cerulean City for it. Maybe even past the next Gary fight. But we should have the next Pokemon before fighting Misty. Should be nice. I always doubted that we would get like a Butterfree or a Beedrill on one of these legs, but part of me wanted to, but it just didn't happen. Neither did Nidoking or Nidoqueen or anything like that. just how it, you know, how it ended up. I did do a stream dream team with Pokemon Red already, and I may do so with Blue and Yellow and introduce those Pokemon into the lineup on stream. But I won't be streaming until I feel much better. I won't be able to stream for long if I do that. These are already going to be shorter episodes until I get better. So, you know, I don't want to I don't want to promise anything. These are already going to be short videos until I get better. Simply put. Feeling okay-ish right now. I say, until I almost throw up. Battling not just sickness, but also medications. Got to get them right. Medications, whenever you take a lot of prescribed medications, you got to be careful that you don't get, like, I don't know, serotonin syndrome or fucking weird interactions or side effects, you know. So, I don't want to get too personal with it. We're here to have fun, but, you know, it is a major thing going on in my life right now, so, you know. But we have defeated Viridian Forest. Not that hard. Not that bad whatsoever. Quite a fun little journey, actually. Always going to be a special place in my heart for Viridian Forest. Forever and ever. Alright, let's get ourselves out of here. Let's get ourselves healed up. And get ready to trounce this gym. Absolutely destroy Brock's gym. Brock is primarily rock and ground, even though it is a rock-type gym. In fact, there are more ground-type Pokemon than rock types at the gym. But they all take additional damage from water, so we should be fine. But let's take a little detour before we do that, just to extend the time of the episode just a little bit. Let's go to the museum. $50 for a ticket? Yes, please. We can look around at some Pokemon fossils. Very, very cool. Actual sprite work of different fossils of the fossil Pokemon, like Kabutops and Amistar. An Aerodactyl. Yeah, look at that. That's so cool. Actually, I'm not sure there is a Amistar fossil in here. What are these? Meteorites. Really, really cool. Just some interesting science stuff. And of course, space. The Space Shuttle Columbia. Isn't that one of the ones that crashed? Crashed and burned? I don't actually know. But that's really, really cool. Is there anything else we can do here, actually? Here, let's talk to these two fine gentlemen. Fine people. I want a Pikachu. It's so cute. Yeah, Pikachu soon, I promise. That's adorable. Love it. I love this little museum. It's very basic, but it is only Generation 1 on a Game Boy Color, so you can't expect too much from them. No, you cannot. Whew. Alright. Let's get in here and do this. What's up, Jim the guy? Takes to become Pokemon champ. I've done it twice. That's only on camera. Actually, 3 times technically on camera. Let's get it happening. First Pokemon out in a match at the top of the Pokemon list. Thank you. Yes, I probably would have figured that out even if I was a 2-year-old. Stop right there, rebel scum. Still light years from facing my Brock. Ugh. Okay. Diglett, ground type. Both of this guy's Pokemon are ground type. They don't actually have the rock type with them. However, they're still weak to water, so this shouldn't be too hard. Shouldn't be too much of a difficulty. Yeah, should 3-shot everybody here. Helps that bubble can also occasionally decrease speed. Critical hits, not that worried about it. Diglett and Dugtrio were actually Pokemon we used in Red. And they are really, really good. They're really obscenely fast, but I'm just not into using them right now. This was another Pokemon I really thought about getting is Sandslash because I love Sandslash so much, but it looks like we're not going to be doing it. Unfortunately. I mean, I could, I just don't know what point there would be to have it in the team, even base, you know, even like if I was going to replace it later. Alright, and just like that, Cofruns has won another battle. Very, very nice. Alright, only one challenge left. We're not even going to go back to the Pokemon center, we're just going to heal up with a potion. A delicious potion. Ooh, love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Bring it on, Brock. Pewter Gems leader. I believe in rock hard defense and determination. That's why my Pokemon are all the rock type. Do you still want to challenge me? Fine then. Show me your moves. Oh, I will, Brock. Oh, I will. God, that's such a terrible sprite. What is wrong with his head and what is wrong with his arm? This poor man is also about to get blasted by ×4 water damage. Oof. Defense curl, useless. Only increases defense, which is useless against special. Yeah, look at that. We are going to tear through Brock here. Onix is a faster, very high defense Pokemon. Extremely high defense Pokemon. However, its special is quite low, and its attack isn't that fantastic despite its size. Meaning, unfortunately, we're just going to run over it. Just absolutely run over him. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And just like that, Sigmar defeated Brock is not a sentence I expected to read, but there we go. It's an official Pokemon League badge. Yes, and we can use Flash out of combat, which we will need to advance the game at some point. Bide is not that great of a move. I don't really care about it that much, and to be honest, fuck it. Don't need it. Alright. But we defeated Brock. Gym guy there would be like, hooray, you defeated Brock. I know I made the right choice. I'm like, I know. Don't I fucking know it. Alright, I'm going to end it here. I know it's been a very, very short one. It's sort of like a classic YouTube before you could have like 13-minute videos only. Unfortunately, I am very, very sick. So sometimes I'll have really good long, like 27-minute videos for Blasphemous. Sometimes I'll have these. So thank you all so much for watching. This has been the Gen 1 Journey. Blue.